Boo! Happy Spooktober, and in honor of the Halloween Spooktober thingy, I decided to upload. You're welcome. Also, I dressed up like the guy that played Metallica in that one show one time. You happy? Rawr. I guess we're also watching a movie about Zombeavers with Bill Burr, John Mayer, and Zeke from Zeke and Luther. Does anyone else remember that show? Just me? Okay. So sit back, relax, and check your local beavers, because for all you know, they're zombies. The movie starts in two truckers, portrayed by Bill Burr and John Mayer, are transporting chemicals, and Bill Burr decides to look at his phone while a deer is in the middle of the road. John Mayer tries to warn Bill Burr about this in the most calm way possible.
Hey man, you see that deer up there?
Yeah, I see.
I don't think you do.
Who would have thought they would have hit the deer when Bill Burr was that attentive? Who'd have thunk? When they hit the deer, one of the chemical barrels flies out of the truck into the river. Now let's meet the main characters. Three girls named Mary, Jen, and Zoe are going on a girls' trip at Mary's cousin's cabin with no texting and no boys. That's not allowed. And apparently, Jen's boyfriend cheated on her. Hence, no texting and no boys. Also, Zoe's a bit of a bitch. Just thought I'd put that out there. They get to the cabin to meet the neighbor lady. Zoe's a bit of a bitch.
What's up, biatch?
And after their conversation, they go inside the cabin. Jen goes to the bathroom and tries to break the rules and text a boy, but there's no service. Since there's no service, their only way to contact anyone is through a landline. Keep note of that for later. They decide to go swimming and they see a beaver dam, and Jen wants to see a beaver, so they swim over to it. They swim over to the dam and they don't see any beavers, but they do see green stuff all over the damn dam. Also, Zoe decided to swim without a top on so she could get a tan without tan lines. So that's why parts of this is blurred.
Ew. Is that green beaver urine? Guess. Kinda looks like it.
Yep, because beavers would have bright green piss as opposed to normal neon orange. What, yours isn't? Then a hunter emerges from the woods named Smith, with a Y.
My name's Smith, with a Y.
He's apparently a beaver expert, and he warns the girls that the beavers will attack them and that they should cover up. The girls get creeped out by this and they decide to go back to the cabin. Later that night, they're sitting around eating popcorn, drinking, and playing Would You Rather, and then there's a spooky knock at the door. What could it be? Is it a beaver? Who knows? They go outside to see what it is, and the door slams behind them.
Should we call police or something? Oh my god! It's okay. It was just the wind.
Yes, the door that opens to the inside of a house was closed by the wind. Good thinking there. Turns out the spooky knocks are the girls' boyfriends, including Jen's two-timing bastard Sam, who is portrayed by Zeke from Zeke and Luther. The boys want to stay because they drove 5 hours, but the girls are hesitant. In the end, though, they allow them to stay because they're all horned up. They go inside and Zoe and Mary have sex with their boyfriends while Jen and Sam sit on the couch awkwardly, as you'd expect if your boyfriend cheated. Jen decides to go take a shower while everyone else is fucking, and she hears something clanking around in the shower.
Buck, I swear to God, I'm gonna stick that bat up your...
Wow, who would have thunk a beaver would be in the shower? In a movie called Zombeavers? This is a total surprise. Jen runs to Sam and everyone comes out of their rooms to see why Jen was screaming, because this is not the type of screaming that happens during coitus.
There was a beaver in the bathroom. Really great news, because haven't you been looking for beaver since we got here? No, there was something wrong with it. It was fucking rabbit or something.
Oh, you know what we should do? We should capture it. We'll raise it as our own.
That wasn't a rabbit in the shower, silly. There's clearly a beaver. Everyone thinks that Jen's crazy, so they all go to the bathroom to see it for themselves. They all go to the bathroom and nothing's there. Until a beaver pops out of the cabinet. Tommy, portrayed by Kevin from the Fred movie, beats the beaver to death and they put it in a garbage bag and put it out on the porch. The next morning they're gonna go swimming and they see the bag out on the porch.
Oh my God, Mary. Yuck.
Oh my god, the garbage bag we put the thing we killed in, it has blood on it, oh my god. Okay, I guess they weren't freaking out about the blood. They were freaking out about the footprints, which was probably just a beaver walking away if I had to make a guess based on the title. Now they're all swimming, having a good time. Except for Jen. She's still mad at Sam and refuses to go in the water, for some reason. Something that bugs me about this scene is that Zoe's boyfriend Buck is still wearing a beanie in the water. Take the damn thing off. This goes for any kind of hat when you're swimming, by the way. Just take the damn thing off. While the others are actually in the water, Mary and Sam are sitting on a dock in the middle of the water, and they talk about a photo that revealed that Sam was cheating on Jen. Mary mentions how Jen was analyzing it, trying to figure out who it was.
Well, I guess it's safe to say that she doesn't know that it was you. Are you gonna tell her?
I don't know.
I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting that one. So you know how Jen didn't want to swim? She decided to put her feet in. Yay, Jen, good for you. Keep going, honey, you got it.
Oh my god. What? Something just swam past my foot.
Oh no, I'm in a lake and something swam past my foot. It was probably a fish. Oh god, I'm scared. Okay, it wasn't a fish. It was a beaver. Look out. Ah! After the beaver brushes past Jen's foot, it scurries its way over to Buck and pulls him and his stupid peenie under the water and bites his foot off. That's what you get. Everyone swims over to the dock and they use Zoe's dog's life jacket as a tourniquet. Zoe brought a dog, by the way. Since Jen was right near land, she decides to run back to the cabin and call for help. But apparently these beavers are real smart because they tore up the phone lines. A huge pack of beavers surround the dock and they decide that they need to swim for it, but they need a distraction. So Sam just throws the dog in the water. They all get back safely to shore, except for the dog, I guess. And then they get back to the cabin. Later in the night, they're trying to figure out what to do, and Zoe has just a little bit of animosity for Sam because, you know, he killed her dog.
You, I hate you. I'm gonna take you. Get off of me, Mary. Stop. You stop. You would take his side. I'm not taking anyone's side. Oh, yeah? Tell that to Jen.
Quickly moving past that, there's a bunch of Zombeavers outside, so they gotta deal with that now. You may be asking, how are they gonna deal with a bunch of beavers who have no issues with biting your feet off? Well, Tommy and Zoe are gonna take Buck to a hospital because, you know, he got his bit foot off. He got his foot bit off. And then the rest of them are gonna stay back and board up the cabin. Tommy and Zoe get to the car safely, but down the road they get blocked by a fallen tree, and Tommy tells Zoe to drive back to the cabin while he tries to find help. But that doesn't last long because a couple of rascally beavers drop a tree on Tommy.
You.
Looks like you're hemmed in a little bit. Let's take my truck.
We have to save my boyfriend.
Well, come on, let's get him. Get out of here.
Smith to the rescue! It's with a Y, by the way. Meanwhile, at the cabin, their plan didn't go too well because, believe it or not, beavers just chewed through the wood. Who'd have thought? Zoe, Buck, and Smith with a Y make it back to the cabin, but since it's all boarded up, they decide to run to the neighbor lady's house. They get there, and not only is the neighbor lady's husband dead, the phone line's cut. I'm sensing a bit of a pattern. Over at the other cabin, Jen, Mary, and Sam are sitting around, and the elephant in the room comes up. They decide to talk about this after all this is done, and Mary goes to lay down in her room. After a while, Jen comes into Mary's room, and what starts to look like a lesbian sex scene, it turns far weirder.
I love you really, but I just don't think of you this way.
I probably should have seen that coming, but I didn't. And over at the neighbor lady's house, same thing happens to Buck. Or should I say buck teeth? I'll see myself out. I'm back, I gotta finish this movie. Zoe grabs Smith's gun to try and shoot Buck, but she misses and shoots Smith. She tries to hide upstairs, but the neighbor lady's also a beaver. Zoe tries to shoot her, but she's out of bullets, so she just jumps out the window. At the other cabin, Sam and Mary are hiding in the bathroom, and Mary's adamant about Sam taking his shirt off. She's either concerned he's bit, or she's just real horny. Sam's not bit anywhere, and he asks Mary to do the same.
What's this?
I guess they're just horny. Outside the bathroom, a beaver bites an outlet and starts a cabin on fire, and then Zombeaver Jen comes through the ground and bites Sam's wiener off. In the midst of all this, Zoe crashes through the cabin in Smith's truck, and her and Mary drive away, and it turns out everyone and everything except them are beavers. All the neighbors are beavers, and now a bear is now a Zombeaver. Zoe and Mary make it down the road to where the trees are falling, so they get out, and Mary's convinced that Zoe got bit. She threatens to shoot her, but it turns out that Mary's the one that got bit. And then the movie ends in the best way I could have imagined.
Hey, you see that girl?
Yeah, I see her.
I trust you.
Bravo, bravo. Give this movie all the awards that have ever existed for every category in every award show ever. Was this the worst movie I've ever seen? Not exactly. But was it still enjoyable? Absolutely. For some reason, there's something really enjoyable about watching a low-budget horror movie. They all seem to have a very cut-and-paste formula based on the stupidest idea possible, and the visuals are equally as stupid as the idea warrants it to be. But for some reason, anytime I stumble across a stupid-looking horror movie, I tend to watch it, and even though it may be one of the worst movies I've ever seen, I still think that it was an hour and a half well spent. While there was plenty of cliches in the movie that could have been a lot better, there was still some cool twists and turns that kept me engaged while watching it. After watching this, I watched an interview with Bill Burr and John Merrill, which was very satirical and self-aware. This could have been done to lower expectations to make it seem that much better, or they were very aware of how stupid the movie was and still did it anyway. Either way, if you want to watch that, I'll link it in the description. So overall, this movie was very stupid. But if you learned anything, it's that you shouldn't wear hats when you swim. Also, don't text and drive because your bright green chemicals in the back of your truck can make the beavers into zombies. I guess.